Hello, ladies. I was a bad girl. I sent an order out that was supposed to include some of my fabric tape, and I literally forgot to put it in the order. That is bad. Really bad. So I need to make some and send it out tomorrow. Hi, Melody. Hi, Lori. Yeah, I was bad. I felt so bad. My customer contacts me and she goes, I received, the package, but it didn't have, in other words, it was incomplete. It's like, oh my goodness. I felt horrible. So I am going to make her some extra. So she won't think I'm a total flake. Just a little flake. She ordered my African ephemera pack, and so that was the fabric that I'm going to be using, obviously. So I thought I'd see what you ladies are up to. It has been so stinking hot. I didn't watch the news. It's probably hot everywhere. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, today was supposed to, I didn't even look, but yesterday they said that it was supposed to be 102. That was without the heat index. So who knows? And then tomorrow is supposed to be just as bad. But then by Wednesday, it's supposed to be 91. So I guess shut up and wait. Because that's all we can do. Shut up and wait. Yeah, and here is it's very humid here. I mean, it was so funny. My husband and I went out to go look at this piece of property that's for sale down the street, and I got the vehicle and drove it out of the garage, and we have a yard that's locked in because we have dogs and stuff. So so I back out, and he locks up, and then he gets in the car. And when he gets in the car, this is how humid and hot it was. His glasses were all fogged up. It was so funny. He goes, I can't see. But that is how thick the humidity was. It was crazy. I couldn't stop laughing. That's bad. I mean, that's bad. Hey, Linda. Hello, Janet. Did I miss other people? I wish I could have the monitor in front of me, but my hookup and all that stuff, it's got to be to the side, so it's hard for me to look and read and then do what I'm doing. I miss half what's going on. So he got in the car. He literally had to take his glasses off and wipe them down so he could get the fog off. uh, Very sad. Anyway, we went to go see this house. The area that I live in, we have nothing but a bunch of old houses. I live in the old part of town, and very few houses are, built earlier than, or later than, I should say, or earlier than. Oh, I always get that backwards. But anyway, they're all between, 100 and 120 years old. Let's just put it that way. And so there was this house down the street where this gentleman, he was an elderly gentleman that my husband would take his blades down to for our lawnmower. That's what he did. He had a little business. And we found out that, I guess it was maybe, well, we found out in the spring that he had died over the winter because, my husband hadn't gone down there because he would go down there like in the springtime and then during the summer to get the blades sharpened. And he just happened to pass away during the period of time, that my husband didn't go down there. Well, anyway, his sister lives in the house, but she's in her 70s, and so she's wanting to sell the house. So it got put up on the market, and don't ask me why. My husband wanted to go down there and double check. He had seen inside the downstairs, but he hadn't seen the upstairs. So we went down there. So that's where we were heading, like 3 blocks down. But it was so stinking hot, we didn't even want to walk. When he got all fogged up. But it was kind of cool. I just love looking at old houses. Even though I live in one and I know they're a pain in the butt, I still have a love for old homes. There's just something about the craftsmanship and the architecture and the wood that was used. I mean, you just can't duplicate it. It's too expensive. You can't. And but anyway, we went over there. It was pretty cool. And he had always been worked with wood. He restored antiques and stuff like that. And he has a workshop, a detached workshop that used to be a carriage house. And that's where he ran his little business. And it's just full of pieces of antiques, like he would use them like sort of like a mechanic would have spare parts, to rebuild an engine or something. He's got little spare parts of all kinds of stuff, and he's got them in boxes by the types of wood and what decade they were used in furniture. And he was very meticulous. He was a real artisan. But it was just fun to look through all that and go upstairs and see what the upstairs looked like and go up the staircase and everything. It was really cool. So then my husband, he's off in some kind of fantasy land, I swear. He goes, "Oh wow, you think your ladies would come and do workshops in a place like this? So we got a big old house like this and turned it into a art colony." And I'm going, "Oh my gosh, Richard, no." No, they'd come once a year, and then the rest of the year, we'd go into bankruptcy. So, my husband has all these romanticized ideas, and I'm sort of like the one that bursts his bubble and brings them back to reality and say, okay, how are we going to pay for this? What are we going to do the rest of the year? I'm the party pooper, actually, when it comes to stuff like that. I think we could be in a lot of trouble if cooler heads did not prevail. Who knows what we'd be doing? Because I know we'd already have done a lot of crazy things. And that's with me, trying to be level-headed about it. Can you imagine? All right, there's one. Maybe. I'll come back later and really smash it down. Make sure it's got a good connection. So then, of course, I won't tell him because that'll, just, fan the flames. But I was thinking, oh, yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Because in that carriage house downstairs, and it's 2-story, the carriage house, most carriage houses are because they had to be so high, for the horses and the this and the that, and put the carriage in, and then I had to have an area up on the top. So anyway, a lot of those carriage houses were converted into apartments on what would be the second floor. So so I was thinking, oh wow, wouldn't that be cool? The carriage house could be my studio, and then upstairs fix it up to 2 bedrooms. Because at one point the lady said there was 2 apartments upstairs above the carriage house. So there's 2 kitchens up there, and then like 2 studios, And so we'd leave those vacant. And then when the ladies wanted to come for workshops and stuff, they could stay up there in the studios, up above the studio. You know what I'm saying? But there's no way I was sharing all those fantasies with my husband because he'd already start wheeling and dealing. So I didn't dare share that with him. Okay, that one's done. Hi, Tanya. Anyone else I missed? Okay, now I just put a bunch of, I'm going to say, where'd my tape go? Under all my fabric, of course. Oh, dear. So anyway, it's fun to fantasize. If you don't drive yourself crazy. Anyway, the house itself was, oops. The house itself was, I think it was like 3,000 square feet. And, or 32. Maybe a little over 3,000 square feet. Because it looked bigger than 3,000 square feet. And then the downstairs of the carriage house was almost 900 square feet. And it's a square box, so upstairs was the same. So that's 1,800 square feet. So there was a lot of space there to have fun, let me tell you. The house we're in was built in 19, I always forget it was 1903 or 1908. I don't know why I don't keep it straight in my head. And it's cool because when we bought it, inside one of the drawers, the lady had left the original abstract that shows all the owners up to, when it was built, which is really cool. And of course, we had to do a lot of work to it, but we knew we knew what we were getting into. So that wasn't like a surprise. And my background and my husband's background are different parts of the construction industry, so we had kind of it all covered one way or another between the two of us. And in the past, we've bought property and flipped them, so that not knowing what's behind wall number 2, that's nothing new to us either. So it wasn't intimidating. But it was fun. I enjoy it. So what's everybody doing? Why the tape, Tanya? Is that what you're asking me? Why the tape? Because the fabric won't stick without the tape. That's a smart aleck answer. I'm making fabric tape. It goes in in one of my listings in my shop. And I ran out of already made. So I need to make some. Am I going to sew it? No. It's tape. It's just stuck. It's double-sided tape. And then when the person gets it, they just take the back off and they use it just like they would use like you would like a washi tape or something. I've used it to do the binding, to cover up the binding on a journal, and it looked pretty cool. I've used it as tabs. Really, you can use it for anything, Just use your imagination, and everybody uses it for something different. See, most people, when they make their fabric tape, they make it really pretty and they sew stuff and then they put the tape. Not me. I like, I like the rough look. I like the messy look. I look like, what happened there? Look, I like this one. The tape, well, all right. You're going to get my story of the tape. I know a lot of people use carpet tape. I don't think carpet tape, the ones that I have found in my local, hardware store and, big box stores, to me, it's not sticky enough. And if it's sticky enough, it's too thick. It's not thin. It's, it looks more like mounting tape. So I got mine on Amazon. And I bought this one brand, which now I forget the name of it. Or is this the one? No, I think it's the other one. I bought one brand the first time I bought it, and it worked really, really good. Real good. Then I went to go get some more because I went crazy and used up all the tape in about 2 days because I just went crazy making this stuff. And then I went to go order it again, and they said they were out. They didn't even sell it anymore. I'm going, what? So I had to buy another tape, which is this tape. And it's still better than the stuff that I found at the hardware store, but it wasn't as good as the first one, or at least the way I remembered the first one. But this is X-Fasten. That's all I know right here, X-Fasten. And so even though this one, the second one I got, is called a carpet tape, but it's really thin. But the first one I got was not called carpet tape at all. And it looked identical, but the adhesion was, the adhesiveness on it was a lot stronger on the other tape. So I would just go to Amazon and, I'm not going to say any one tape over the other, because by the time I say something, they're going to stop selling that one too. But you can get it pretty inexpensive, this tape, at the hardware store. Some people told me they can get this whole big thing, which I guess is like 30 yards. They can get it for like $8. But I didn't like the fact that, it wasn't sticky enough for the way I like it. The one I got on Amazon, I think it was like $15. So, considerably more, but I personally liked it better. But that's just me. If you're just going to use it for yourself, I would go ahead and just get the carpet tape, even if it's the thicker, bulkier one. But because I sell it, I preferred the thinner one, like this one, because it just felt better, and it looked better when you use it on your journals or whatever it is you're going to use it on. Hey, Mitz. Hi, Karen. And anybody else? Oh, there's Stephanie. But anyways, back to the old house. It still had the clawfoot tubs in 3 of the bathrooms, which is pretty cool. I mean, they look cool, but who's going to use them? Who is going to use them? Okay, let's do a survey. Who takes a bath? Come on, ladies. Which one of you ladies take a bath as opposed to a shower? Oh, that's already there. Ooh, a lot of people do. Hey, Addie. I'm kind of surprised. Okay, now don't get grossed out now. I mean, I'm not a I don't think of myself as a dirty person, okay? But I don't know. It just kind of grosses me out thinking that you're soaking. I guess I would have to take a shower first if I want to just sit in a tub. Because I would think, I don't want to sit in a tub in my bath water. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. And then my back gets cold. I know, I'm just a whiny complainer. My back gets cold. It's just not fun to me. There's nothing about a bath that makes me feel better once I've had it. Just give me a shower. Oh, you found it, Melody? There you go. See, I wish I could enjoy a bubble bath. I think one of the problems with me too is years ago, I got pneumonia and I was really, really sick. And then a couple of years later, I got double pneumonia. And the center of my back always is cold, literally. It feels cold. And the rest of me may feel just fine, but there's a center in my back that always feels like a little chill. And so I thought I was just like, making it up in my head or something. And so one time I was at the doctor's and I was saying, I may be crazy or something. Then I explained, how I felt and why that one part of my back always feels cold. And I had told him, about the pneumonia and all that stuff and everything. And he says, well, of course. He says, when you have pneumonia, you get scar tissue on your lungs. And for a lot of people, that scar tissue, when it's damaged, the circulation isn't good and you feel cold. And the section that you're talking about is where your lungs are. And I go, oh. So I guess I kind of sort of have an excuse. It's a goofy one, but you know, it's just the way it is. So when I felt I had a legitimate excuse, I didn't feel so weird. I go, oh no, my injury will not allow me to bathe. I have to shower. And even like when it's raining outside, my head can get soaked, my feet can get soaked, everything gets soaked, but I can't let my back get I mean, of course it can get wet, but it can't stay damp. If I'm out running around and I get caught in a little whatever, little cloud burst, I have to come straight home, because if I continue just like a normal person, with that little bit of dampness on my back, I end up with such a bad, my lungs get all congested. I mean, it's like practically turns into bronchitis and everything else. It's just really pretty pathetic. So even if it's hot and it looks like it's going to rain, I have to take, like a little rain something with me to put over my back, just to carry around with me, just in case it rains, because I can't go dilly-dallying in the parking lot like everybody else. Sometimes I feel like a snail throwing salt on a snail. Oh, I'm gonna die! I can't get wet. I guess we all have our little idiosyncrasies, huh? So that's my long-winded tale as to, I guess, why I don't enjoy soaking in the tub. Epsom salts will too. They'll suck everything out of your body. Do you know that? Okay. Do you know that sometimes you can have impurities in your body, whatever they are, whatever sources they come from, And it's almost nice. Some things just stay dormant. I had a friend, and this is kind of a scary story, so don't turn off the lights. No. um, for years, he worked where they made stretch limousines. They get, the regular big old Lincolns, you know how it is, and they stretch them all out. So, of course, there was welding going on, there was painting going on, and he was doing this back in the like 60s, I guess, 60s, 70s, something like that, where, they weren't using the protection that they should have. They were inhaling things that, now we know were really bad. Well, anyway, he did that and did many other things. And he was really a pretty healthy guy. And um, he worked really hard. He had a ranch. He did, he was a very, very physical man. Let's put it that way. He did a lot of stuff. And so, he was getting older and his body was getting a little achy and everything. And so somebody somewhere told him, oh, you just need to relax your muscles and, just soak in some Epsom salt because it'll open up your pores and, your muscles will relax and all this stuff. So he did that. And when he did that, the man became violently ill. And it took, I mean, so ill that, and in so much pain, he just wanted to die. And he ended up having to go up to the Mayo Clinic because he went to all the doctors. He went all over the place. Nobody could explain what was wrong with him. Finally, some doctor from the Mayo Clinic, says, okay, let's just start from square one. And so he started from square one. And when did it happen? What was going on? What did you do right before? And he told him the story about, sitting inside of the Epsom salts in the bath. Well, he explained to him that not everybody, of course, not everybody has a bunch of stuff in their system like he did, obviously, but there are people that have these different toxins in their bodies from wherever, and they don't affect you. And then it's sort of like when you do things like that, for some people, not everybody, it's sort of like it wakes everything up and it starts moving around in the body, trying to get out. But before it gets out, it kind of like gets inside of, your organs and things like that. And you can have a really, really violent reaction. Now, it's not common by any means, probably, one out of 100 or maybe one out of 10,000. I don't know what. It's not like he said, it's not real common, but it's common enough that, doctors are aware that when they see symptoms like that and they find out they've soaked in those salts, that ends up being it. Well, there was no quick remedy for him. I mean, there wasn't anything they could do. The damage had been done to his nervous system. And, you know, that was that. And he's never really been the same. I mean, he's a little bit better, but, he's never been the same since all of that. But that was an eye opener, things that appear to be, for most people, a real innocent, activity. Taking the bath of salt seems like a no-brainer. Like, hey, that sounds like fun. Well, it ain't fun for everybody, and that was scary. So, just a cautionary tale. Another reason I don't take bath. No, 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 not really. Oh yeah, the salts in for your feet. Yeah, those I've done that in the past. That didn't involve exposing my back. Yeah, that felt good on the feet. That really did. Okay, how many more do I have to do? Just a couple more. 'Cause I don't have that many left of this particular listing. Let's put this here. Alrighty. Let's put some of this. Well, I've got almost all of my glue books I was making. Those of you that were with me last time, where I got some of my little sketches, and I made copies, and I was going to put them in the cover of my glue books. I almost got those all done. I went kind of crazy and made too many, but that's okay. So I've got the covers all done. I've got the signatures all done. Now I got to just put the signatures, into the journal, and they are done. How many of you know who Tisha Moore is? Any Tisha Moore fans out there? Tisha. Is it Tisha? Not Tisha. Tisha. Tisha Moore. I think I said her name wrong. It's not Tisha. It's Tisha. Yeah, she's wonderful, isn't she? Well, before um, I knew of her as a mixed media artist, which that's what she's mostly known for, I had watched a video of hers where she did some work with fabric. So for the longest time, I only knew her as someone who worked with fabric. And then someone said, fabric? She's a mixed media artist. I'm going, what? That was before I even knew what mixed media was. I go, what are you talking about? Anyway, she calls them pillows out of fabric, and I just love making them. And they're small. I'll show you a couple when I'm done with this, because I was working on some of them earlier. And she makes journal covers out of them. She makes purses out of them. She had a stroke, Tanya, a really, really debilitating stroke. But the last I heard, she was, she fought back, and of course she's not like, like she was before the stroke. But her husband will post stuff every now and then. And when she first had it, they weren't sure if she was going to make it. That's how bad it was. She was in the hospital for quite a while. But it's funny, how some of us know one artist for one thing and we don't know to do something else, and I think it's kind of cool. She did such a variety of things, and she was good at everything she does. All right, what should I put right there? Is that gonna? Give me a different color. Darla, you would come up with a practical solution, wouldn't you? I got that domain that you told me to get, Carla. Forgot to tell you, I did get that. I did it that very night you told me, and then I got distracted because there was a bunch of stuff that came up, and I forgot to tell you. Alrighty, now I just gotta fill in that little gap. A little gapperoonie. Let's see what color. Let's find something. I really like this color. I think you guys know enough about me how much I like color. See my no-sew patchwork. See, I can give her a link to the video. See, you can watch your tape being made. Yay! And like I said, I'll come back later and I'll really burnish that down so that it's really stuck, you know, to the tape. How many do I have? Oops, maybe I need to do one more. Shut up, Rosemary. You're not done. One more, and then I'm done. And let me find, let's put this right there. Very sticky in a good way. In a good way. Very, very sticky. My poor old doggy. It's getting harder and harder for him to get around. You guys have to help me figure out some device that I can get a 100-pound dog off the ground and moving to go to the bathroom, to get him outside. Poor thing, is getting harder and harder for him to get up. Okay. Hey, Mary Lou. Let's see. I don't know if I want to use that white on there. Okay. Let's get the bright color. Gotta get the bright color. Hey, Tamar. Tracy, I am making my version of fabric tape. Everybody has their own little version and rendition. And this one is mine. I have a ephemera pack that I sell in my Etsy shop, and in that ephemera pack, it's an African ephemera pack, and in that pack it includes some of this fabric tape made out of my African fabrics, and I ran out, so I had to make a few to have enough for my order. So I thought, oh, I'll just chime in and see what you guys are up to. Some of you ladies just like to hear noise in the background while you're doing your art. I can provide that noise for you. Although, when I do stuff, I get quiet. I told Vicki Ross, she's a really good artist, and I like what she does. But she's on during the day when I'm busy doing, working, and I'm usually, in a different room or something. And if I put her on, it's just silence, because she's so concentrated in what she's doing. She doesn't chit chat a lot. So I need to find videos where, the ladies don't shut up. and then I feel like I'm a part of something, Otherwise, it's just silence. Maybe I need to put that right there. And I kind of tend to do the same thing sometimes. All right. And then sometimes I'm in the other room and things are going on, like live sales or something, I'm in the other room, and then I hear someone say my name, and then I have to run over. It's like, what did they say about me? What did they say about me? And usually it's something that has to do with a peacock or something. They go, oh, Rosemary would like that. Or a bug, something to do with a bug or a peacock. Or Asian. I like anything Asian. Or an elephant. Anyway, they've all got my number, so they call it out to me. I don't necessarily win it and get it, but at least they thought of me. I can drool over somebody else getting it. Alrighty, now I'm gonna fill that gap up right there. Let's see what we got. Maybe a little bit of that, maybe. Nope. Aha. Maybe some of this color. There we go. I have a little plan. I'll share with you guys. The problem is I never know when I go live because, as you guys know, I don't have a schedule. It's just whenever I'm motivated to do so. But if I share this plan with you, then I'll, we'll have to like show up at the same time. I don't know. You could watch you can be one of the repeaters, as Laura says. But I think it'd be fun to do it together. So I got to figure out when to do that together. Okay, what do I want to put in there? Ooh, it's purple. Oh, it's already purple right there. And yes, I talk to myself. And sometimes I answer myself. Oops. Oh dear. Okay, now we need an itty bitty. Just a little itty bitty. Let's do some contrasting. Like everything isn't already contrasting, right? Is there anything in here that isn't contrasting? Oh, I just dropped a bunch of stuff. That's okay. That's okay. Let's put this right there as if we didn't need more flash. You know we do. You know we needed that little flash right there. All right. Snip time. And I usually leave it over on the edge a little bit because I liked it kind of the fray look. And then whoever gets it, they can always cut it back if they don't like that look. Easy to cut off, then try and figure how to add it on later. Alrighty. And then for you guys that haven't done this before, and you want to do it, just make sure you really make sure that it is super stuck back there on the back. Burnish it with it, whatever you've got. Credit card, whatever. And like I say, depending on the brand of tape that you get, you know, it's going to have a different, you know, a different adhesion. So, all right, so we got that done. Let's see how we did. We got this one. And that's all I had to do. I only had 4 kits that needed this tape. So we're set to go on that one. So I make some more of those kits. Let's put this all back in my scrap bag. And here's some smaller ones I've already done. This is for a different project, but these are kind of cool. Same fabrics. These are all still just the African fabric. I think these are like about 6 inches. On the kit, they were 12 inches long. So I think they're cool. And then I had the giraffe ones that go with the kit too. I like that print. Okay. There you go. All right, so now the other thing, I forget who asked me, they wanted to see some of these before they were completely done. Now I went brain dead about who was asking me. These are the covers that I was doing for the glue books. And so the covers are done, and like I said, the signatures are done. I just got to put them in, but they came out kind of cool. Those of you that didn't watch what I was doing, I took copies of some of my drawings, and then I cut them up into 6 pieces, and then then I glued them onto some cardboard because I was looking for like the old posters that used to be in pieces, and you'd see them up, you know, on the, like for movies and things like that in the old days. And because they didn't have, I guess, printers that could print them big enough, they put them in sections. And so that's what I was kind of sort of mimicking. And my little, I think we all decided he's a cat because the mother, I don't know, oh, she's way over there, because the mother has a tail. So we figured out that he's got to be a kitty cat too, because they were a family. So, and then we thought maybe it was an interracial animal marriage, but we went ahead with the kitty cat because of the whiskers and stuff. And so anyway, like I said, these are ready for me to just put my signatures in. I had a lot of fun putting these together. And it was just coincidentally because, everybody's, talking about, what you can put in your journals and, what's copyright free, what's not copyright free, what you can sell, what you can't sell. And I said, you know what? Draw your own stuff, then nobody can say anything. Nobody can tell me, Rosemary, no, I drew that. You can't tell me nothing. Take it somewhere else. Okay, so now back to Tisha Moore. I didn't look up when I asked, so I have to ask again. Are you guys familiar with her pillows? I know you're familiar with her as a mixed media, drawing those cool faces and collages and all that kind of stuff. But do you know her fabric work? Yes, no, maybe? Oh, good night, Tanya. Thank you for coming. I have a no from Hottie. Okay, I will share then. She calls them pillows, first of all. And what she does is she gets any old kind of fabric. Let's just get a piece. Let's get a piece. You get any old piece of fabric. And she does all the sewing by hand. She leaves all the rough edges. When you turn it over, you just turn it over like that. So if, all that kind of stuff drives you crazy, then this is not a project for you. She doesn't do the double over and the ironing and, making it all pretty. No, she doesn't do that. It's just plain. Okay, so you need 2 pieces of fabric. Let's get a little bit of a contrast. Okay, so what she would do is just fold that over like that, and you just stitch it like I did. And of course, well, let's do it halfway decent here. And then she'd fold that over nice and raw, just the way it is. Fold that over, sew that up, and now you have the opening. And then she puts a little bit of batting, just very, very little, and then she would close it up, because you can see these are not thick at all, but I did put a tiny bit of batting. And if you don't want to put batting, she says you can put another piece of fabric that is a little thicker. So when I did these, when I first discovered her doing these, and then of course then she comes back and she does all this, just basic crazy stitching, to fluff it up and all this. Okay, well, that I discovered her pillows like maybe 2.5 years ago. And now fast forward, now to me this looks like Cantha quilts. It was almost like she was doing little mini Cantha quilts, but she didn't call them that. But Cantha quilts are just, 2 or 3 pieces of fabric. One piece of fabric in the center, maybe a little thicker, and then it's just all hand stitched together, to create the Cantha quilts. So I thought, well, these are like little mini Cantha quilts. Anyway, so she sews this up and she stuffs it in, and you sew like that, and then you come back and you put any kind of decorative sewing that you want to do, but everything's by hand. And then she'll put beads on it or something. Here I put an old necklace that, had fallen apart. Here I put some little buttons. Oh, this was sent to me. And this has little buttons on there. And then here I put some little beads and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then what you do after that, after you have a whole bunch, and you make them any size, You don't predetermine what size anything's going to be. You just find your pieces and you make them. Then you come back and now you're going to put them together. And then that is like how you fit them in. It becomes really cute because, you never know how it's going to fit, where there's going to be a gap or whatever. And then with these pieces, once they're put together, she makes pillows. I mean, big pillows out of the little pillows. Or also she turns these into covers for art journals. She's made purses out of them. Just all kinds of cool stuff. And then all you do to put them together, you kind of see that stitch right there. She says just whip it up. I don't even know what you call the stitch. And then that's together. And then, say these are already sewed together. Then you grab these together like that. And you go, you sew like that. And then that's just what you do. And they are just super duper cool. And they're fun. And it's a fun way to use up your scraps and just kind of be creative. Oh, whip stitch. See, there you go. Hi, Pamela. Anyway, so yes, and her name, when you look her up, it's spelled two different ways. I don't know why. I don't know if she did that or people did it or whatever. Let me see if I don't lose you guys by trying to look this up. Hold on one second. Let me look. That way we can get the way that it's written. Okay. Hold on. The name comes up, but not what I'm looking for. Hold on. I'll find it. All right. So here is one spell. Oh no, wait. I'm confusing myself. Okay, this is TEESHAMOORE. All right. So if you look that name up, you're going to find art journaling because that's what most people know her for. Let me see what you have to type in for. Oh, here we go. Oh, how cute. Okay, so if you go to Pinterest and they have it under Tisha Moore patches. She doesn't call them patches though. If you look at Tisha Moore patches, then these will come up. But she calls them pillows. Let me see if I punch in pillows. Because the other one just popped up on its own. Yeah, you can look at it up both ways. Patches and pillows. With her name. And they'll pop up. And then also you can go to YouTube and punch in her name. And she has, I think it's just one video where she shows how to do this. Let me see if I can find that. Maybe yes, maybe no. Oh no, because if I go to YouTube, then I'm going to get lost and I'll lose connection probably. I know that's what I'll do. So I better not. I better not try and find that. Okay, but anyway, if you look her name up and you look, either Google or Pinterest or something, and you're going to see all of her really cool collage and mixed media and all this kind of stuff. And then look up patches or pillows, and then these will come up, and it'll be pretty cool. Hey CJ, how you doing? So anyway, so I think I want to start, just doing, I call this brain dead work because, you're not supposed to think ahead and you're not supposed to plan. You're just supposed to do it. So I think I'm going to be doing some of these the next week or so because my brain is fried. So I think I need something that, doesn't take too much forethought or energy or anything to get something done. So what are you guys all doing? I'm trying to see here. I never get to read. Oh, Rita, yeah, that's wonderful. They are so much fun. They're very addictive. Very addictive. Well, Mary Lou, your hand sewing doesn't have to be good. That's the beauty of this, because it's not supposed to look good. Now, see, like this one was gifted to me. Now, this one is done good. She did a really beautiful job. There's no phrase, there's no nothing. And then you look at mine. It's just a mess, and it's popping up all over the place, and you know, it's just a mess. But it's supposed to be like that. It's okay. It's okay. I have a textile group over on Facebook, and a couple of years ago, we traded. We made, I forget how many it was, two or three of them or something, any size, and then we traded with other people. And that was a lot of fun, because you saw everybody else's interpretation, like hers. She was very neat and tidy, and then others were, just a mess like mine, and everything in between. and and I just think they're pretty cool. And then I have ladies that come over, just for playtime here at my studio every once in a while. At least once a month we get together just to play. And we were making some of these. And one of the ladies made the most beautiful cover for a journal. It just came out really, really cool. She said, I can't do this, I can't do this. And hers ended up coming out the best. So you just never know. And we've all got, scraps. And we're also hoarders. We don't throw anything away. So you've got plenty. And if you don't have any batting or stuffing or anything, just put another piece of thicker fabric in between, and you're done. I think that's what she did, because I don't feel the batting in here. I think that's what she did. She put three layers of her fabric in there and did it that way, and it looks really cool. I like it a lot. Darla, I know some people do. I know. But I think when you do random stuff, it's very freeing. And I think a lot of people in art, I think it's kind of ironic. People that aren't into art, they think of artists and they think of people that are just very random and freewheeling, and throw the paint against the wall, and that's what that in their eyes, that's what an artist is. But reality, I've never met so many persnickety people until I got into this art world people, the craft world. I don't know how to say this tactfully. They're kind of like re- self-imposed uptightness about being free, about either paint or fabric or paper, or, you know, if you show something, they want to know exactly how you did it, because they want it to be just like yours, which to me, art is supposed to be self-expression. And so I don't know. I'm gonna get on a soapbox in a second. I mean, intellectually, I get it. I know there's a lot of people, and I have friends this way. They can do things, but they don't have original ideas, and they're envious of people that have original ideas. And so they have the love for art. They want to do it. They want to express themselves, but they tell me, they said, I can't think of anything. I don't see anything in my head like you do. You know, there's nothing visual in my head unless I see it somewhere else. And then I can get inspired when I see something else, and then they're motivated to do something, which I get that completely. I really do get that. But then it goes to the extreme where you're not just inspired by it, you know, now you want it to look just like it, or else you think that you failed. And so you're just kind of like, I feel like you're setting yourself up to not allow yourself to make mistakes and not allow yourself to express yourself, because art is such an individual thing, and you should let yourself make a mess, let yourself make a mistake, you know, be a hottie popo, you know what I'm saying? She doesn't care. She doesn't care what anybody thinks about anything she does. And, you know, I think we should all be like that about our art, you know. And, you know, and we don't have to show it to anybody. It can be a hot mess and you can't stand it, and throw it in the trash and, you know, start all over again. And, you know, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But, yeah, having no lines. Do you have do you have a name you have symbols here for? Pamela, are you asking me that? And if you are, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, Betty, do I have her pegged? Good. I'm glad. Yeah, Darla, perfectionist. I think that's what it is. And I think it's frustrating for perfectionists, um, to be messy and make mistakes, you know. And so I guess perfectionists that, you know, are artists, I think they need to be commended, because I guess just doing art in itself is getting out of the box for them, you know, because unless you do paint by the numbers, you know, um, it's it's what it's unpredictable, and I think perfectionists like things very predictable in a little box, and, you know, everything just so and just right. So I guess they need to be commended just for trying, you know, an art form that it's never going to be the way they want it to be. Right. They have to have an end result. That, you know, I think you just hit it on the head right there. Because inevitably, like when I use Shannon Green as an example. Shannon Green, she'll get some papers out there and she'll throw paint on it and she'll do this and she'll do that. And every single time they'll say, but what are you going to do with it? It's not what you're going to do with it. It was the fun of making it. The whole point is making it. You may never not do anything with it. You're not going to do nothing with it. It was the fun of making it. And I think that's with most of our stuff. You know, if we come up with little doohickey of some kind, you know, and they go, oh, that's cute, but what are you going to do with it? Who cares? It was fun making it. It's just the fun of making it, you know. So, and what are you going to do when you're done with it? Put it on the shelf. But what are you going to do with it? And it's the same concept. If someone's painting a painting, you go around when you have a piece of canvas and someone's painting a bouquet of flowers. You're not going to say, "Oh, but when you're done, what are you going to do with it?" Well, we know what you're going to do with it. You're going to hang it on the wall. It's done. It's done. And the same thing with the goofy stuff that we do. You know, it's when we're done, it's done. It doesn't matter what we're going to do with it. It's done. We had fun doing it. And hopefully learn something along the way. Yeah, Debbie, exactly. Yeah. You go, Aaron. Yeah. So anyway, that is the latest with what I have going on. I'm just glad that I got my tape done. I'm glad I've got my journals done. I'm glad I've got some stuff for me to play with the next day or so. Uh, what else? Oh, I've got to make, oh, tomorrow I have to really make a whole bunch of my eco-dyed papers. I don't have any, and I've got orders, and I've got to fill those orders. So I am going to be boiling tomorrow in the heat. Oh gosh. Well, at least it's already hot. What do I care, right? What do I care? Perfectionist. Oh. Yeah. I'm going way back. I'm trying to read because I don't get to read anything. Yep. Exactly. Okay, ladies. Unless you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Yeah, let's do a question for 5 minutes. I'll answer any questions. Well, almost any. I know Erin's been taking care of business behind the scenes. She's a she's a pit bull out there. Oh, Tracy Moore. Okay. Yet another name. Okay. Are they rebuilding my dream house? Erin, what does that mean? I think I'm gonna turn. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. It might end up being a journal cover, or I might end up making it a pillow. I'm not too sure. That one. Aaron, I drool every time I pass by it. How did I not know what you were talking about? I drool, I drool, I drool. I am just so happy that, okay, I think I mentioned somebody bought it, then they realized they were way in over their heads, and then they sold it and someone else bought it. Whoever the last person that bought it has the bucks, let me tell you, because they are redoing it all, and they're doing it. And that's just the outside I've looked at. Who knows what they've done on the inside? On the outside, they're redoing it exactly to the period of the home, and it is just going to be so much better than I would ever have done, because I wouldn't have had the money to do what they're doing to that house. And so, even though, selfishly I wish it was mine, um, I'm really, really happy that whoever has it, because they're going to do a beautiful job. Yeah, it's beautiful. But speaking of old homes, oh my goodness. Okay, when we moved here 11, 12 years ago, and I was just fascinated by all the old homes, and we'd go up and down the streets, and unfortunately most of the older homes here have not been kept up, and it's really sad because the architecture is just beautiful. And so we came across this one house, and he had some scaffolding outside, and then we came by another time, and with over maybe a month period of time, we kept driving by hoping to see something new on the outside of the house, because the scaffolding was there, but there was nothing ever happening. So then one time we passed by, and there was this elderly gentleman out there, and so we stopped and we asked him if that was his home, and he said yes. And he was one of those elderly guys that was very chatty, so we didn't have to ask him too many questions. He was kind of filling you in, and how long he had it, and what he's done, and what he hopes to do, and all of this. Now, on the side, that house too had this big old carriage house, and he lived in the carriage house while he worked on the house on the inside. Okay. So then he asked us, would you like to see inside? Well, I wanted to. I just was too embarrassed to ask him, can I, go lurking through your house? But he offered. So I looked at my husband, I go, oh my gosh, So we went in. Oh, I wish I had had a video camera, a camera, anything. I wish I had had anything. Literally. Okay, this house, I later on looked it up on the county records, city records, and the house is like almost 7,000 square feet. It's 2-story, plus it has, and not that's just counting the first and second story. Then on top of that, there's an attic, and there's a big giant basement. Okay, he had hoarded architectural elements in this home. He had a path that you could barely walk from one room into the other. I mean, a path where you'd have to lean on something to, get through. And every single room, and the ceiling, was like 12-foot ceilings. Now, this is an old Victorian home. Stuff packed up to literally the ceiling. If you've ever seen the end of Citizen Kane, where you see all of that stuff he has in that mansion, that's what it looked like. It was just stuff after stuff after stuff. Beautiful. Stained glass windows, mirrors that were gilded. And you would just go in awe from room to room to room, and frames that were gorgeous, and corbels that would, fireplace, man, everything. And it was in every single room. And when he took us upstairs, there was that much room in the stairs to walk up, because it was full all along of junk. So, not junk. Trust me, it wasn't junk. It was beautiful, beautiful stuff. So I'm looking at my husband, and he's looking at me, and a lot of the stuff he's saying now, we're starting to question. Well, turns out the poor gentleman had dementia, because at one point I asked him, are you selling any of this stuff? And he says, well, I'd have to talk to my wife first, and see what she thinks, because I have to pass everything, past her, which seemed reasonable. You're going to ask your spouse. Well, after we finished this whole big, beautiful tour of an unbelievable, first the home itself, and then the stuff he had in there. We find out later, we spoke with somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. Turns out his wife is dead. And he never got over the fact that his wife died. His wife had already been dead for like about 11 years. And he kind of lost it. But he still had the love for the home, and he would go all over this town when something was going to be dismantled, or it had a little fire in it, or somebody wanted to piece off the home or something. He would go in there and get all the most beautiful things you could find. He had original chandeliers, Art Deco, Art Nouveau, anything you can think of during that 30-year span. And he had everything. Okay, now, so I had a heart attack about that. I had never seen such beautiful stuff like that up front in one place, and so much of it. Okay, so we would go back every so often and just to talk with him, because we knew he wasn't going to get rid of anything, because his wife's never going to give him permission to get rid of anything. But I just loved looking at the latest stuff he had found, because he kept finding stuff. Well, I hadn't been over there in about a year, and I was driving past and I saw a for sale sign on his yard. I go, and I made a U-turn, and my heart sank, because when I made the U-turn, I could see through the house. You could never see through the house because it was packed full of stuff. I parked, I got out, peeked through the window. There was not one thing left in that house. So the poor gentleman had died. I don't know where all that stuff went. I really hope it went to people that are going to restore, vintage homes. I really hope it wasn't just some interior decorator that's going to piece this stuff off and someone's going to use it as a prop in their home. I really hope, it went to somebody that does restoring. But everything was gone. I mean, everything. It was so sad. And anyway, so the house is for sale, and I forget how much they want for it. I mean, it's a complete redo because there's nothing in there. I mean, he had gutted the kitchen because he was going to redo it. He had gutted this, he had gutted that because he was going to redo it. And, obviously he didn't do anything. And so someone has to go in there, I mean, the skeleton is there, the hardwood floors are there and they're beautiful. It was hardly ever stepped on because he had so much stuff everywhere. There was a little path. So the hardwood floors are gorgeous. The original fireplaces and mantelpieces are still there. But he had taken down the doors because in his mind, he was going to refinish all the doors because at some point they had been painted. He was going to strip them all down. So all the doors were, off at the hinges. I didn't see, of course I just saw downstairs, but I didn't see any doors in the doorways. I think they even got rid of the doors. It was just sad. It was just sad to see all that beautiful stuff gone. But yeah, that was too bad. Beautiful, beautiful. But anyway, so I'm happy that the house that I didn't get is in good hands. It's going to be beautiful. And who knows what's going to happen to this poor gentleman's home, because it was a really, really beautiful home. And then the one down the street from me, that's been kept up really pretty. It's got all the original wood. The wood has not been painted. Every room has, the pocket doors. Everything is red oak, so it's beautiful. All the original hardwood floors are in there. The clawfoot tubs are in there. I saw around 3 or 4 light fixtures that if aren't original to the home, it's original to the time. And yeah, pretty cool. Really cool. So that was fun. But anyway, that's it for me. Oh, that's good. See, we got one taker. They're going to make a little cover for their little journal. It's really cute. I mean, you know, just right here. Or you can make a little mini, or real mini. Look at that, how cute that would look. That would look super cool. Or even like that size. And then just put your signatures in there. How cool is that? Or you could turn it into a little pocket, a little pouch, and put your little journal in there. Oh, now that's a cuter idea. Ha! That would be adorable. A little house with a little mini. Okay, that's a winner. That's a winner. Yeah, this size right here is really cute. Because this is 3 inches, or in centimeters, 8. And that's about 3.5. So it's like 8 by 9.5 centimeters. So pretty cool. All right, ladies, thank you for keeping me company. I got stuff done that I needed to do. Hopefully I've inspired you to try something new. Oh, I didn't tell you what I wanted to do together. Holy moly. Okay, here's the plan. And we'll figure out later when we're going to do it. But this is what you need to get. All right. You need to get some envelopes, okay? Need some envelopes. And you need at least 5 envelopes, all right? And you can pick whatever size envelope you want. The kind that you would send in the mail, you know, like you would send a card in or a letter in, those kinds of envelopes. And they can be in different sizes, but the smallest one cannot be any more than half an inch smaller along the radius, all right? Or else this won't work very well. So say if this is 5 inches, then this can only be what? Help me now. It's too late for me to think. Can't be 4. No, that's too much. Oh, yeah. Then it can't be any more than this. Can't be any less than 4, right? That comes out correct. Correct. So, all right. So you need 5 of those envelopes. And then whatever size your envelopes are, you need that size of cardboard. Okay. So you're going to need 5 pieces of cardboard, 5 pieces of envelope, and your cardboard and your envelopes need to be the same size. I hope that makes sense. So collect that, and then we're going to have a little project that we're going to do together next time we meet. And if you're not here the next time we meet, then you just get to watch the repeat. But maybe what I'll do is I'll schedule a time that we're going to do it, and then I'll just put it up on the video on YouTube that we're going to do it whenever. I'm not sure when it'll be. So get your supplies ready, and then we can play together. 4. What's 4? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I came up with it, Erin, all by myself. Can you believe it? Huh. Yeah, I guess this is sort of like slow stitching, huh? Everything has different names. I guess that's slow stitching, right? A form of it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, envelopes. I think like the perfect size would be something like no bigger than, I don't think any bigger than like 7 inches or so, 7 by 5, something like that. I guess like, I don't know, no bigger than this, I guess, would be good for starters. And then get at least 5 of those and we'll be all set. Check, check. All righty. All right, ladies, thank you again so much. And I will, I guess, put something up there to let you guys know when we're going to have the fun. All righty? Thank you, Erin. Okay, good night. See you whenever. Bye-bye. Thanks again.